the desperate knock. It was late at night. The wind outside was cold and strong. The stars shined bright in the dark sky. John sat alone inside his small house, far away from any city. He liked this lonely place. No noise, no trouble, just peace. But tonight, something was different. Suddenly, John heard a soft knock on his door. It was quiet at first, then louder, and then a voice weak, shaking. "Please, please open the door," the voice begged. John stood up slowly. His heart began to beat faster. He picked up a flashlight and walked to the door carefully. "Who's there?" he asked loudly. A pause. Then a woman's voice replied, "Please, sir, if you have a heart, let my daughter in. I can pay you with my body. Please." John froze. That was a strange thing to hear in the middle of the night. He unlocked the door, but kept it just a little open. He peeked outside. In front of his door stood a tall woman with silver skin and glowing blue eyes. Her long hair was shining under the moonlight. Behind her, a small girl was hiding, her face full of fear. John was shocked. An alien woman. And a child. He had heard stories about aliens living secretly near human colonies. But he had never seen one so close, especially not on his doorstep. The woman spoke again, her voice almost breaking. "My daughter, please let her in. She will die out here. I can give you anything you want, even my body." John looked at the girl. She was trembling, holding tightly onto her mother's dress. Her eyes were wide with fear. "Why are you here? What's happening?" John asked. The woman looked over her shoulder quickly, like she was being followed. "There's no time. They're coming. Please." John felt a chill run through his body. He didn't know if this was a trap, but the fear in the child's face. It felt real. He opened the door wider. "Come in, both of you," he said. The woman quickly pushed her daughter inside and stepped in too. John shut the door fast and locked it inside. The woman fell to her knees. She held her daughter close, tears running down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, human." John sat on the edge of the table, still unsure what he had just done. "Tell me who you are. What's going on?" The woman wiped her tears, but her hands were shaking. "My name is Alara. I'm not from this world. We've been running, hiding for days." She held her daughter tightly. "My little girl, Mira. They want to take her." "Who?" John asked, his voice low. Alara looked at him with pain in her glowing eyes. "Hunters. Cruel men who capture alien children. They take them and sell them. I escaped them, but they followed me here." John felt anger rise inside him. "And what did you mean when you said, you would pay me with your body?" Alara lowered her head. "I knew a human man might not help us for free, so I offered what I thought you might want." John felt ashamed, but also confused. "I don't want anything from you. I just want to know what kind of danger I'm in now." Suddenly, a loud noise came from outside, a crunching sound. Heavy footsteps. Alara's eyes widened in terror. She hugged her daughter close. "They're here," she whispered. John stood up quickly. He moved to the window and peeked outside. In the darkness, he saw shadows. 3 large figures moving around his house slowly. They were armed. They were searching. John's mind raced. He could give the woman and child back to these hunters and they would probably leave him alone, or he could protect them. But that would mean danger, maybe even death. The small girl, Mira, looked up at John. "Please, don't let them take me," she said softly. Her voice was like a knife in his heart. John took a deep breath. His decision was made. He turned to Alara. "Lock this room. Stay quiet. I'll handle them." Alara grabbed his hand. "You are kind. No human would have done this." Thank you." John pulled away gently and went to the cabinet. He took out his old laser rifle. It had dust on it, but it still worked. Outside, the footsteps stopped. Then a deep voice shouted, "Open the door, human. We know she's in there. Give her to us, or you'll regret it." John stood near the door, rifle ready, heart pounding. He whispered to himself, "Let's see if you can regret something. When you're dead." And then, silence. The first night of this strange meeting was not over yet. The danger had just begun. The decision inside the small house, time seemed to slow down. John stood by the door, rifle in hand, as Alara and her daughter Mira hid behind the old sofa. The air was cold and heavy. Outside, the hunters waited, their shadows moving across the windows like ghosts. John's mind was full of questions. Who were these hunters? Why would they chase a mother and child? And why did they come all the way to his lonely house? Suddenly, the hunters knocked again. Louder this time, human. "We know they're inside. Open up. We will not ask again." John's fingers tightened around his rifle. He looked back at Alara. She sat with Mira in her arms, rocking her gently, her silver skin shining under the dim light. She looked tired, scared, but also strong. "Why are they chasing your daughter?" John asked quietly. Alara looked up, her glowing eyes full of sadness. "They take alien children and sell them to places worse than death. My daughter is special. She has abilities. They want her because she's rare." John felt a chill. "Abilities? What do you mean?" But before Alara could answer, Mira raised her little hand. A small glowing orb appeared above her palm, floating in the air. Soft blue light filled the room. John stepped back, shocked. "What is that?" "She can create energy," Alara whispered. "It's inside her. They want to use her for power." Outside, the hunters shouted again. "Last warning. Hand her over or we burn your house." John felt trapped. His peaceful life was gone. He had two choices: give the girl to these monsters and save himself, or fight back and protect them, even if it cost him everything. He looked down at Mira. The little girl's glowing eyes looked back at him, trusting him completely. He couldn't betray that trust. John took a deep breath and made his decision. He turned to Alara. "Hide in the basement. Take Myra with you. Don't make a sound." Alara's eyes widened. "You will fight them alone." John nodded. "Yes, I won't let them take her." Alara touched his arm gently. "Thank you. You are a true human." John moved quickly. He helped them into the hidden basement door, covering it with a rug. He gave Alara a key. "If I don't come back, escape through the tunnel." Alara hesitated, then hugged him. "Good luck, John." As soon as they disappeared into the basement, John locked the door behind them. He checked his rifle. Fully charged, then he stepped forward. Suddenly, a loud crash. The hunters were breaking the window. John fired a warning shot into the air. The blast echoed outside. "Stay back." He shouted, but the hunters laughed. A deep, cruel laugh. "We have weapons too, human. You can't protect them." John's heart raced. He knew this fight was coming, but he was ready. The hunters kicked the door hard. The wood cracked but held. John whispered to himself, "Let's see if your weapons are better than my will." He prepared for the fight. Something caught his eyes, a strange glow coming from his own hands. His fingers shimmered with blue light, the same light as Mira's energy. "What is this?" he whispered. In that moment, he realized something had changed inside him. Maybe, just maybe. Protecting this alien child had awakened something hidden deep in him too, and outside. The hunters shouted again. "The next time we hit the door, we're coming in." John raised his rifle. blue light swirling softly around his fingers. He was no longer just an ordinary man. He was their protector now. The hidden truth. John stood in front of the cracked door. His hands were still glowing faintly, the same strange blue light that Mira had shown. He didn't understand what was happening to him. Was it a gift? Was it dangerous? But there was no time to think. Outside, the hunters gathered close, whispering to each other. John could hear them. He pressed his ear against the door and listened carefully. "Be careful," one hunter said. The girl's powers might have already touched him. He could become one of them. John's eyes widened. Become one of them. Did they know something he didn't? He stepped back and looked at his glowing fingers again. The light was fading slowly, but still there. A strange warmth filled his chest. He whispered to himself, "What are you, Mira? And what's happening to me?" Suddenly, he remembered the basement. He rushed to the hidden trapdoor, lifted the rug, and opened it quietly. Elara and Mira sat in the shadows below. "Elara, what's happening to me?" John asked. Elara's face went pale when she saw his glowing hands. She climbed up quickly, pulling Mira with her. "You touched Mira," Elara said softly. "Her power. It links with people who protect her. The hunters know this. They hunt not just the child, but anyone who tries to save her." John felt shock and confusion. "So, I'm changing." Elara nodded. "Yes, you are now connected to her. The hunters will not leave you alone, even if you give us to them." John realized the truth. It was no longer about hiding Mira and Elara. The hunters would come for him too because he had touched the light outside. Another loud shout. "We will break in now. Last chance." John clenched his fists. "How many of them are there?" Elara closed her eyes and focused. Suddenly, her skin shimmered and a strange blue mist rose around her head. 3 hunters, 1 by the front, 2 at the back. But they are not alone. John's breath caught in his throat. "What do you mean?" She opened her glowing eyes and whispered, "They brought a tracker beast. It can sense Mira's energy. And now, it can sense yours too." A sharp howl filled the air outside, a chilling, unnatural sound. John's fear grew stronger, but so did his determination. Elara put a hand on his shoulder. "There's something else you must know." John turned to her, impatient. "What now?" She leaned closer and whispered, "Mira is not just any child. She is the last of a royal bloodline from my planet. She is a princess. If she dies, my people's hope dies too." John's mind raced. A princess? A child with strange powers. A hunted royal bloodline. This was much bigger than he had ever imagined. The hunters outside began hitting the walls and windows harder. The door shook violently. The tracker beast scratched at the side of the house. John looked at Elara. "We can't wait here. They'll break in soon." Elara nodded. "You are connected to Mira now. You can protect her better than anyone else. The bond has started to awaken inside you. Soon you will understand." John didn't know what she meant, but he felt something inside and energy that made him stronger. Faster, more alert. Myra crawled up to John and gently held his hand. "Thank you, kind human," she said softly. In that moment, John knew he couldn't let this child fall into the hands of those monsters. He would fight. Suddenly, a crash, a window shattered. The first hunter was inside. John raised his rifle, his glowing fingers gripping it tightly. The fight had begun. The hunter's arrival, the sound of breaking glass filled the room as the first hunter climbed through the shattered window. His face was covered with a black helmet. His armor glowed faintly red. In one hand, he held a long blade. In the other, a strange gun that hummed softly. John pointed his rifle at him without hesitation. the glow from John's fingers wrapped around the gun like it belonged there. The hunter stopped for a second when he saw the blue light coming from John. "So, it's true," he growled. "The bond has begun." Before John could ask what he meant, the hunter charged. John fired. A bright laser shot hit the hunter's shoulder, burning through part of the armor, but the hunter didn't fall. He moved. Fast, faster than any human should. Alara grabbed Mira and pulled her behind the sofa, shielding her with her own body. Her silver skin shimmered as she whispered something soft in her language like a prayer. The hunter lunged at John, knocking the rifle from his hands. John fell back, but to his surprise, he moved quicker than usual. His reflexes felt sharper. His body, stronger the bond. The energy from Mira was already inside him, changing him. John kicked the hunter's leg, then punched hard so hard that the hunter's helmet cracked on one side. The hunter snarled in pain. "You fight like one of us now, but you are still human. You will lose." Suddenly, loud banging at the door. The other two hunters were trying to break it down. John knew time was running out. He grabbed the broken rifle and swung it like a club, smashing it across the hunter's head. The helmet fell off, revealing pale gray skin and sharp red eyes. John stared for a moment. This was no ordinary alien. This was a Korath warrior, known for their brutality and strength. He remembered old stories about them. Hunters who never gave up, who lived for the chase. The Korath growled and pulled out a knife. "You can't protect the princess forever, human," he shouted. John didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Alara. "Take Mira. Go to the basement." Again. Now. Alara hesitated, but John shouted louder. "Go." She obeyed, pulling Myra down into the hidden trapdoor. John moved fast, blocking the hunter from following them. Just then, the front door exploded. The other two hunters stormed in, their weapons ready. John was outnumbered now 3 against 1, but something inside him had changed. The bond with Myra made his heart race faster, made his eyes sharper, made his muscles stronger. And then, something unexpected happened. The glowing blue light around John's hands spread across his whole body. His skin started to shimmer faintly. Like Ilarez, the hunters stopped for a moment, confused. "What is this?" one of them whispered. John felt it too. Energy flowing through him. Ilara peeked from the basement door. Her eyes widened. "The bond. It's stronger than I thought." "John, you're becoming a guardian." "A guardian?" John asked quickly. Ilara shouted back, "In my people's history, only rare humans could bond with royal blood. You're the first in centuries. You can use her energy now." John didn't fully understand, but he didn't need to. His hands glowed brighter. And when he raised them, a shield of blue energy appeared in front of him, blocking the first hunters. "Attack!" The hunters howled in frustration. "You will die protecting her, human." The leader shouted. Don smiled for the first time that night. "Then come and try." The fight was far from over. But John was no longer just a man with an old rifle. Now he was something more. A protector, a guardian, and he would not let them take Myra, not tonight. John's heart pounded, but his fear was gone. Instead, he felt the strange energy moving inside. Him, warm, powerful, alive. The blue glow around his body pulsed like a heartbeat. The 3 Korath hunters moved fast, spreading out inside the small house. Their weapons gleamed. Their red eyes burned with hunger for the hunt. But John was ready. The first hunter lunged, swinging his blade. John raised his hand, and a blue energy shield appeared instantly, blocking the strike. Sparks flew as metal hit the glowing force field. John countered quickly. He pushed forward, and the energy in his hands blasted out like a shockwave, throwing the hunter back into the wall with a loud crash. The second hunter fired his strange gun. The beam of light shot straight at John, But this time, John moved faster than any human could. He felt like time itself had slowed. He rolled to the side and dashed forward, striking the gun with a punch. The weapon shattered into pieces. The third hunter snarled. "This is impossible. No human can fight like this." But John could feel it. Now the bond with Mira was complete. He wasn't fighting alone. Her energy was inside him, guiding him, strengthening him. From the basement, Elara and Myra watched through a small crack. Myra's eyes glowed softly as she whispered, "Be safe, kind, human." Elara held her close, tears in her eyes. He's becoming a guardian, and they will. Fear him. The first hunter recovered and roared. "Enough! Release the tracker beast." Suddenly, the door behind them burst open. A terrifying creature stepped inside. The tracker beast was huge, with dark gray skin and glowing yellow eyes. Its mouth was filled with sharp teeth. A low growl rumbled from its throat as it sniffed the air. John froze for a moment. The beast's eyes locked onto him, not Mira. They trained it to sense the bond, Elara whispered in horror from below. "It hunts not just her anymore. It hunts you too, John." The beast charged with terrifying speed. John jumped aside, barely avoiding the beast's claws. The hunters laughed cruelly as they watched their monster attack, but John was done being prey. He raised both his glowing hands, and the air around him shimmered. He pushed his palms forward, and a powerful blast of blue energy shot out. Hitting the beast in the chest, the beast stumbled but didn't fall. John knew he had to end this quickly. "Come on," he shouted, taunting it. The beast roared and charged. Again, this time, John didn't dodge. Instead, he leaped straight at it, something no human would dare, at the last moment. He slammed both hands into the creature's head. The blue energy poured from his body into the beast. For a second, everything was silent. Then, with a loud cry, the beast collapsed. Dead, the hunters froze in shock. John turned to them slowly. His eyes glowed blue now, just like Mira's. "You hunted her because you feared her power," he said calmly. "Oh, you'll fear me." The leader of the hunters raised his blade again, but hesitation was on his face. He realized they had underestimated this human. John didn't wait. With a final burst of speed, John rushed forward. He moved like lightning. In seconds, he struck the leader down, then turned to the others. The remaining hunters backed away, fear finally in their eyes. "You've lost," John said firmly. "Go back to your masters. Tell them, this child is under my protection now." The hunters hesitated, but then ran. They rushed out of the house and into the darkness, leaving their fallen leader behind. The fight was over. For now, John dropped to one knee, breathing heavily. His arms trembled not from fear, but from the strange energy still running through him. Elara rushed out of the basement, Myra in her arms. "You did it," Elara whispered, kneeling beside him. "You saved her, saved us." John looked up. At her, his eyes still glowing faintly. "No, not yet." Elara frowned. "What do you mean?" John stood slowly. "They'll be back. This was only the first wave, and now they know what I am, what we are." Outside, the cold wind blew. Carrying the sound of distant howls, the hunters might have fled, but this war was far from over. The house was silent again, but John knew the danger was not over. His hands still glowed faintly. The warmth of Myra's bond was deep inside him. But he felt drained after the fight. Elara sat beside him on the dusty floor, holding Myra tightly. Her silver skin shimmered softly, her face pale but calm. John broke the silence. "They will come back, with more hunters." Elara nodded. "Yes, the Korath Never give up. And now that you're bonded with Mira, they'll hunt you too. John stood and looked around the ruined house. The walls were cracked, windows shattered, furniture broken. He couldn't stay here. We need a way out, he said firmly. At Elara hesitated for a moment. Then she reached inside her cloak and pulled out a strange device. It was small, shaped like a silver cube, glowing faintly with blue light. What's that? John asked. Alara's voice was soft but serious. This is a portal key. It can open a door to another world, my home planet. John felt a flicker of hope. Why didn't you use it before? Alara's eyes filled with sadness. It needs power. A lot of power. More than I have alone. That's why they chased us for so long. I was looking for a way to charge it. But now, with the bond you share with Mira, your energy can power it. John frowned. My energy. I don't even understand what's happening to me. Elara placed her hand gently on his arm. You don't need to understand. You only need to trust the bond. Myra's power is inside you now. Together, you can activate this device. John took a deep breath. The bond, he could feel it even. Now, the warmth, the glow, the strange new strength in his body. He nodded. Let's do it. Elara smiled weakly. Good, but we must hurry. I can sense them coming again. And this time, their leader will come too. At that moment, Mira stepped forward. The little girl looked up at John and held out her tiny, glowing hands. John knelt down and took her. Hands gently, immediately. A wave of energy surged through him, stronger than before. Brighter, wilder, the cube in Alira's hand began to glow. Brighter and brighter, humming softly at first, then louder and louder, until a thin crack appeared in the air in front of them. The crack widened. Glowing blue, forming a swirling portal that pulsed like a living thing. John stared in amazement. Through the portal, he saw a beautiful world of sky full of strange moons, silver trees, glowing rivers. It was Alara's world, all peaceful, beautiful, but unfamiliar. Suddenly, there was a sharp noise outside. John turned. Dark shapes were moving quickly around the house. They're here, Alara shouted. John grabbed his rifle, but Alara held his arm. No, the portal can only stay open for a short time. We must go now. If you fight, we'll be trapped here, forever. John looked at her. You go first. But Alara shook her head. We go together, all three of us. John hesitated for only a second. Then he nodded. Outside, a deep, terrible voice shouted, Break down the door. The child is ours. The front door cracked and splintered as heavy boots kicked it again and again. John grabbed Myra in one arm and held Ilara's hand tightly with the other. Together, they ran toward the portal. At the very moment the door burst open and the hunters stormed inside, the three of them jumped through the swirling blue light. With a loud crack, the portal closed behind them, disappearing into nothing. The house fell silent again. The hunters stared in frustration at the empty room. Their prey was gone. But far away, on a strange and beautiful alien world, John, Ilara, and Myra landed softly on glowing grass. John looked around, breathing hard. We made it, he whispered. Ilara smiled gently. Welcome to my home, John. But even as they caught their breath, John felt something strange in the air, darkness far away on the horizon. Ilara followed his gaze, her smile fading. This is not the end, she whispered. There's something waiting here. Something worse than the hunters. John's heart sank. The fight was not over. John stood on the glowing grass, breathing hard. The sky above was strange but beautiful, 3 moons shining softly, silver clouds floating slowly. The air smelled fresh, like flowers and rain mixed together. Ilara stood beside him, holding Mira close. Kira's tiny arms wrapped tightly around her mother's neck. The little girl looked peaceful now. But John could feel the bond still glowing between them. They had escaped, but something felt wrong in the distance. Dark clouds gathered over sharp black mountains. The wind carried a faint sound, a deep hum. That sent a chill down John's spine. Ilara followed his gaze. Her smile faded. This is my home, but it's no longer safe. John turned to her. What is that? He asked quietly. Ilara's voice shook. The hunters were not working alone. They served someone. Something greater. And it's here, waiting. Suddenly, Mira raised her glowing hands again. A strange blue light danced in her palms, brighter than ever before. Her eyes looked far, away, as if she could see something coming that no one else could. Ilara, John said carefully. What does she see? Ilara took a deep breath. She feels it. The Shadow King? John frowned. A Shadow King. Who's that? Lyra spoke. Slowly. The ruler of this world now. After my people fell, he took over. He controls everything from the dark mountains. The hunters worked for him, and he knows Mira has returned. John felt a heavy weight on his chest. He'd fought so hard to protect Mira and Ilara, but this fight was bigger than he ever imagined. Suddenly, dark shape appeared on the horizon, a tall figure, wearing black armor, standing still. Even from far away, John could feel its gaze. Ilara whispered, "It's him." The figure raised one hand slowly. The air around them grew colder. John stepped forward instinctively, shielding Ilara and Mira. His hands glowed blue again, but brighter, stronger than before. Ilara touched his shoulder gently. You are her guardian now, her protector. As long as you live, she will be safe. John nodded. He felt it deep inside. The bond was complete. Myra's energy was now part of him. He could protect her, even from this dark king. But this would not be easy. In Mira's soft voice, she whispered, "Thank you, kind human. But we must be ready. He is coming." John took a deep breath, looking out at the approaching darkness. His quiet, lonely life was over. This was a new beginning, a new world, a new battle. He would not run anymore. He would fight. For Mira, for Ilara, for hope. The story was just beginning.